Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Lindsay Briggs. I am coming in to guest lecture for your global health class at University of Nebraska, Omaha. I am based in California, so that means I'm not in Omaha, but I know many of your professors from our professional sort of associations. So just a little bit about me, because I know that people like to know who it is that they're being instructed by as well, since you don't know me, since I'm not from UNO, more importantly, to know about me. So my name is Lindsay Briggs. You can call me Lindsay, or you can call me Dr. Briggs. Those are your two options. I'm totally fine. I'm from California. We're very casual here, so we do first name basis. If that feels weird or awkward to you, you can also just call me Dr. Briggs. I have a PhD from Indiana University in the state of Indiana in health behavior, which is a public health degree. I also have a master's in public health from Indiana University School of Medicine. It's a clinical degree in behavioral health in the field of public health. I did most of my work focused on global health sort of things. My bachelor's degree is in international politics and Asian studies from a small liberal arts college in Pennsylvania. A lot of what I teach from and background of global health comes from some of my informed background from international politics. I've been working in public health for about 14 years. 13 years of that has been specifically on sexual health, and about 12 years of that has been specifically working in Africa. A lot of what we do in this class, global health, I will be referring to a lot of stuff in Africa. There are other parts of the world, and I try to bring those in as much as possible, but because I do have experience in Africa, I have a minor in African studies as well. That is where most of my knowledge and expertise comes from. And so I like to talk about stuff that I've personally experienced. And so this class is heavy Africa-centric, but I do talk about other areas of the world and other sort of things, and you are free to explore that for the projects within the class. I have a very casual personality. I'm a very laid-back sort of person. Again, part of it is just who I am as a person, but also part of it is California is a little bit different than Midwest and other sort of things. But I am pretty strict about my rules, and so I always try to temper that and say, yes, I'm very casual, very friendly, but also I'm very serious about the work that we're going to be doing together. And so just kind of keep that in mind. I am from the state of Indiana originally. I live in California now. I've been here for about 9 years. I have a family. My parents are divorced. I have 2 sisters. I'm the oldest. I'm super queer. I have a wife. We have 2 kids. We also have 2 glorious little nephews who are my pride and joy, and they're very funny. I am white passing, but I am both white and Native American, and so my Native American heritage is very important to me. My mother comes from the Leech Lake Band of the Ojibwa, which is the Minnesota Chippewa tribe. I'm a crazy animal fanatic. We have a lot of animals. We live on a farm out in Northern California. We have 20 animals currently, a mix of dogs, cats, bunnies, a horse, a pig, goats, and I think that's about all. So I'm a crazy animal fanatic. They bring me a lot of peace. So when I'm not grading and lecturing and doing other sort of things, I'm probably playing with one of the animals. I'm vegan. I'm a pretty hardcore vegan. It doesn't really have much to do with this class, but I always just mention that because there's a lot of people who are interested in veganism. It comes up at one point in the class in terms of environmental sort of stuff. But other than that, it's just a fun factoid just so you can get to know me. Goo Goo Dolls are my favorite band. They're not just a band from the 90s. They continue to make music. They've released 2 albums in the past 2 years, and I love them. I've seen them 24 times in concert, and I just think they're marvelous. I'm a super hardcore radical, probably even more so by Nebraska standards. That I tell you not to scare you or to influence you in any sort of way, but just to tell you who I am and where I'm coming from. There's this idea that in education we should be unbiased and be completely apolitical in our classrooms. And I think that is impossible, number one, and I think it's bullshit, number 2. I think it's really important that people know where we're coming from so that you can make your own decisions about things. If you know that I'm as far left as one can get and I'm super intersectional intersectional, super into sort of social justice. That helps you to establish sort of an idea of what I'm talking about and decide if it's something that you agree with or don't. There are no requirements in this class that you have to agree with me. It's totally fine to disagree with me, and everybody's opinion and perspective is welcome here. And so I tell you where I come from just so that you are able to gauge these sort of things. I do my best to be unbiased and try to present all sides, but obviously as humans, we're flawed and we can't always be unbiased, and we can't always do a good job presenting other people's sort of opinions. And so I do my best, but I also want you to know where I'm coming from, so that way you can kind of gauge that against what you're thinking when you're thinking through the different sort of topics that I bring up. I'm also somebody who's mentally ill. I think that's just an important part of who I am. And I think there's a lot of professors who are mentally ill and just don't tell anybody. And there's a lot of stigma and shame around mental illness. And so I just like to be upfront about it. I have OCD, pretty gnarly, and I have complex PTSD and some other sort of issues. It doesn't really come up in this class, but I just like to share that in the spirit of destigmatizing mental illness. I love memes. I would communicate in memes if at all possible all the time. And so if you ever have to ask me for a favor or tell me something disappointing, you might want to attach a meme to it to help smooth that over. It'll probably go over much better. About this classroom, I know it's a virtual sort of classroom, but this is an oppression-free classroom. We want to choose our words really wisely. We don't want to say words and things and descriptors that hurt people. There's a difference between being clumsy and not knowing language and being mean and hurtful. And I know the difference. And so don't worry, I'm not going to police you and you're not going to get in trouble for clumsy language. We are all working through sort of how to have better language. But if you're being mean and nasty to people, then I will definitely do something about that. As I said a little bit, but more importantly, we value all diversity in this classroom, right? Oftentimes when we think of diversity, we think of race, ethnicity. Sometimes we think about sexual identity, sexual orientation, gender presentation, but also religious beliefs, physical and mental abilities, your age, your sexual experience, your culture, your political stance, your size. Yes, if you are conservative or if you are moderate, all of those things are fine with me, even if my perspective is different. In this class, we are here to learn and think and discuss in constructive sort of ways. And so that's really important for me. In this class, you will be treated as an adult and expected to behave as an adult. Again, we can dialogue and talk about really hard issues, but we'll do so with respect for everybody in this classroom. Hopefully this class will be relaxed and safe and you can feel comfortable to express yourself and ask questions and challenge each other on ideas as much as possible. That is a really important sort of thing to me. Respect is the only thing that I demand. Respect for myself, respect for each other, and respect for yourself. I think that's a really important sort of thing. As long as we're all being respectful, we don't have to agree. And in fact, we won't all agree. We'll disagree on a lot of things, but as long as we're challenging ideas and not people and personalities, we're going to be okay. Finally, you always have a right to pass. There's going to be some stuff that I'm going to ask you to do that may be uncomfortable. I'm never going to ask you to share things with other people that would put you in any sort of precarious situations. If there's anything you want to do that is private, please let me know, and I will be happy to help with that. Finally, I want you to have fun and be comfortable in this class, and I think it's really important for you to do so. And all of the information, sorry, dogs. Okay, sorry, there was a random dog outbreak of barking, so I stopped the lecture and restarted. So the syllabus that is posted is your new syllabus for the semester. It has all the information that you would possibly need in it. And so check there first before asking me a question. But obviously if you have any questions outstanding, please feel free to email me. I'll be using my Chico State email because that's the one I use on a daily basis. It's on both the syllabus and on my contact information on Canvas. And so there's that. So everything needs to be turned in via Canvas. Obviously, I'm not in person, and so it would be harder to get it to me, but turn everything in on Canvas. I'm new to Canvas. I traditionally have used a different learning system, but I'm getting pretty familiar with Canvas, but everything should be turned in there. Send me emails via my Chico State email. I don't accept late work. It's important for me to keep a good work-life balance, and so having a schedule and everybody sticking to it is really important. I have a 2-week rule. When I grade things and post them to the grade book, you have 2 weeks to inquire about them. Sometimes I make mistakes. I am human, or sometimes there is something that happens, and so you have 2 weeks to check those, make sure they're right, and remedy them. After that, then the grade stands no matter what it is. This is an asynchronous class, and so you get to work at your own pace in whatever sort of way that you want. So attendance is not really a thing. Participation and keeping up to date with all of the work is, and so that is an important sort of thing to do, but you are free to do it at whatever sort of time works for you. If you want to be first thing in the morning, if you want to do it late at night, I don't really care, just as long as they're done by the due date. If you have any accommodations that you need or religious observations that are not honored by our traditional calendar, please just let me know, and I'm happy to do those things for you. Academic integrity is very important to me. Cheating is gross, frankly, and it is an insult to me. It's an insult to you. It's an insult to other sort of students, so please don't cheat. I punish people who plagiarize or cheat to the furthest extent that I can, and I just don't mess around with that, so please don't do that. In terms of our grade evaluation, every week you'll have reading responses to do, a class activity that typically will just be a summative sort of reflection, and then we'll have one big project that stretches over the rest of the semester for the majority of your points, and then we will do a final exam reflection, which won't be too big of a deal. It will be a summative sort of cumulative reflection of what you learned this semester. If you have any questions about those, please let me know. They're all outlined on the syllabus. And then finally, I always just like to talk about sexual assault in Title IX because it's a really important issue to me. It has nothing to do with this class, but it does have a lot to do with life. I think it's really important that we recognize Title IX as a federal law that protects you from gender-based discrimination. And we know that sexual violence often happens to people regardless of gender in a lot of different sort of situations. And so it's really important to me to be very in tune with that, and to make sure that you all know that consent is really important. It's something that you need to have each and every time you touch another person's body, and that consent is enthusiastic and clear, not just a lack of no. And so if you have any issues with this, there is the Title IX office at UNO, or feel free to reach out to me, and I'm happy to connect you with resources that you might need. All right, I look forward to spending the semester with you. Thanks.